Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto here for the Wasteland Reviewer YouTube channel, and I'm here to review The Accountant, starring Ben Affleck and directed by Gavin O'Connor, and written by Bill Dubuquet. Now, I saw this film last weekend, and I had been seeing the trailers for months, really looking forward to seeing this film. And I was really interested to see how Ben Affleck would handle accountant on the spectrum who could also kill people, and really trying to see the movie that was built around it. And honestly, this film was so great to me, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And as of right now, it makes one of my top 10 favorite films of the year. Now, in terms of the direction, Gavin O'Connor brings a really stark, just realistic, gloomy nature to the film that the visuals really stand out in terms of the film, and it's very crisp, and for the most part, the camera work is fantastic. There were a few action sequences that everyone has to use the shaky cam, and it gets a little disjointed, but overall, the direction was really, really handled well. And in terms of pacing, this is a slow burning film. And don't go in thinking that you're going to get bam, 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 bam action sequences throughout the whole film, because honestly, this really isn't a straight up action movie. It is a drama built on characters with action sequences in it. And when they do come, they deliver. And there are some well choreographed, awesome action sequences. And when it wasn't relying too heavily on the shaky cam, everything was in focus and you could really see what was happening. And they were intense. And you weren't quite sure what was going to happen. And Gavin O'Connor did a really good job of putting this film together. And in terms of pacing, even though it was a slow burn, I never once felt bored. And I felt like it was going at a pace where I could feel for the characters and connect with them, and never feel like, wow, can this just move on already? And in terms of the writing, the screenplay was very interesting, and some of the storytelling choices were interesting. At first, I was thinking, well, storytelling here is going to be a big weakness because I was confused. There was sequences that were dropped in, and it just didn't make any sense and why they were there and how they fit. But as the film goes on, just be patient because they're going to pull back some layers and everything's going to make sense. And I thought that was one of the really cool things about this film. So going in, just allow it. It's one of those films that by the end of the film, everything you see the big picture, and you come to seeing the perspective of what you're supposed to see and the story that's supposed to be told to you. In terms of the plot, it was really interesting and intricate. It was very intricate. And there were some things that felt a little convenient, and when everything's explained to you, it's like, was that really necessary? Did I really need to know that? Was that really needed? But in terms of how the screenplay is written, I think it works so well. And there's only one particular scene that really stuck out to me where welcome to Exposition City, and J.K. Simmons just rails off all this stuff sitting on a couch, and it's just like, okay, I see how this is going to go. But even if that wasn't bad, the way that he said it, if you've ever seen The Other Guys, and Steve Coogan's character is like, well, I think the most logical place is to start at the end, go back to the beginning, and periodically keep going to different places. That's kind of how he told the exposition, and it was really confusing. But in general, this film was really cool. And the characters, they were fleshed out, cool characters. You really got to feel for them. And Ben Affleck, this is honestly probably my favorite performance of his. And he was so believable as somebody on the spectrum. And everything he did, his awkwardness, the subtleties of his performance were fantastic. And honestly, he was really funny. And I know that was something they were going for, was somebody who might be on the spectrum, might deal with social situations in an odd way, and he really delivered on that. And Anna Kendrick was so charming, fantastic, just the little things of her performance. There's a part where the chemistry between the two of them, I'm just like, this is fantastic. I just want them to wind up together. And other performances, John Lithgow did a very good job. J.K. Simmons did a very good job. One of my favorite parts of this movie was John Bernthal, and he had some great charisma, and he was also threatening, and he was a great character to pop into this movie. And in terms of depth, you really feel for Ben Affleck's character and his struggles and everything he's been through. And honestly, once you see the film, it'll make a lot more sense why it's like, how's this guy an accountant, but he could kill people? This is ridiculous movie-esque kind of stuff. Once you find out about his background, it does come into more perspective, and you can see where that was all coming from. The editing, besides some of the fight sequences, was very crisp, fantastic. The shots were great. The music was perfect, and it built this ambiance for the film that worked so well. Honestly, I love this film. Highly recommend going to see this in theaters, giving it a chance. I'm gonna give The Accountant an A minus.